Good afternoon. Welcome to the second annual Celebration of Teaching event brought to you by your friends here at the College of Education and the College of Natural Sciences. My name is Roberto Hernandez, and I have the distinct pleasure of working at the College of Natural Sciences in the Office of the Dean. But more importantly, I'm very privileged to serve as your MC here today. And I'm extremely pleased we have a lot of amazing people with us here today who have made it their mission to inform you and propagate a legacy of learning that is really vital for our future. Then today is the day for you. But before I go on further, I wanted to share a couple of, I have a couple of two very special guests who have joined us here today. We have both deans of the College of Natural Sciences and the College of Education that would like to go ahead and welcome and say a few warm words. I believe I will start with the College of Education Dean, Dr. Chinakwa Domwachukwu, Dean of the College of Education.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here on this special event where we come together each year to celebrate the teaching as a profession. I'm excited to see so many people who are interested in exploring this honorable profession of teaching. As some of you know, teaching is a profession that stands out as one of the best and most impactful professions in the world. Teachers are men and women who feel a sense of calling to make a difference in the world. Contrary to the popular views on the street, teachers are not poor, and teaching do not make you poor. In fact, teaching enriches your life and enriches the life of the people around you. And it does this more than any other profession. Financially, anyone who begins in this field of teaching in their 20s and works hard through it will live a comfortable life all their lives, and they will retire on a good pension and maintain good quality of life the rest of their lives. So while you may not be a multi-millionaire, you will live a comfortable life as a teacher. People who come into teaching, however, don't come into it because they want to make millions of dollars. More often than not, they come because they want to contribute to society. Those who come into teaching come because they want to make a difference in the world. Teaching is like being a farmer. You sow the seed and you watch the seed germinate, grow, and produce fruit. The seed that teachers sow in the form of cultivating good study habits in kids, teaching them to read and write, teaching them on how to count, add, subtract. These seeds blossom as kids grow up. And in a few years, teachers see the outcome of their work. Like seed, these planted in human lives begin to germinate and grow and begin to produce outcomes like medical doctors, lawyers, accountants, nurses, building contractors, and even senators and presidents. Teachers are architects and builders of society. So in choosing to come into the field of teaching, you're signing up for a profession that positions you to help shape the future of our nation as we strive for a more fair and more equitable society. The CSUSB College of Education is one of the best places you can prepare for your teaching career. We have outstanding faculty, many of whom have published the textbooks that are being used across the nation in the teaching field. We have world-class counselors and educators of strong accomplishment. So you're coming to study under the best that California has. And not only are they the best, they also represent a group of people who care about the population they serve. Our faculty members come to this place not just because of what it has to offer, but because of what they are willing to give. So we have people who are dedicated, who are committed to the field of education, and they want to be in the Inland Empire, and they want to invest in you. So you can't have it any better. So our college represents a community of academicians who are not only qualified and highly qualified, who are not only knowledgeable in their fields and experts, but who are engaged in the community. So our desire is to continue to influence this community. I hope you know that in the county of San Bernardino and county of Riverside, the two superintendents of education are all CSUSB graduates. Most of the school district superintendents in this area are our graduates. A whole lot of the school site administrators are our graduates, and a vast number of classroom teachers and counselors and school psychologists come from this place. And they are making a lot of difference in our society and in our world. So as you come to this program, you are simply joining a group of professionals who are accomplished, who are transforming the world. So I want to welcome you into CSUSB College of Education and ask you to complete that application, get started. We will do everything we can to help you succeed. My name is Chinaka Donwachukwu. I'm the Dean of the College of Education. My email address is directly accessible online. You can call me if you have any problem getting your application processed. I will be there to help you. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to the celebration of teaching. Back to you. Robert.
Thank you, Dean. Appreciate your time. At this time, I'd like to also turn this over to our other esteemed guest, Dean Sastry Pantula of the College of Natural Sciences. Dean Pantula, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Roberto. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm so glad to see so many people join us today to learn about how teaching can be such a rewarding experience and a very meaningful career. As you just heard, teaching impacts the lives of students in many positive ways. And I'm very proud that both my college and the College of Education are working together to encourage and excite you about this professional path. I am Sastry Pantula, Dean of the College of Natural Sciences, and I put my contact information in the chat, so please do not hesitate to contact me if I can be of any help. Teaching as a profession and teachers themselves are very close to my heart. In fact, it's in my genes. My grandfather was a teacher. My father was a math teacher who used to wake me up at 4 in the morning to teach calculus to me and to my friends. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be a teacher from my high school days. And I won't be surprised if our daughter, who registered for this event today, becomes a math teacher in the future. In fact, my name, Pantula, means a teacher in my language, Telugu in India. It comes with the hereditary, I think. And Sastry means a person who knows all of the epics. So teachers do inspire others, stimulate their curiosity about the world and around them, and ignite a passion for knowledge and creativity. Teaching STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is especially important as science educators are the ones who keep the spirit of discovery, innovation, and exploration alive and train future educators, scientists, engineers, healthcare workers, astronomers, lawyers, and leaders. You lay the foundation, and unless the foundation is strong, you cannot build a strong mansion or a tall skyscraper. You mold their future, and together we define the future. So if you are here today because you are considering a career in the classroom, let me applaud and encourage you to continue this path. It is a very, very rewarding and gratifying job. You will hear from many, many experts today who will share their experiences, their knowledge, and their encouragement. So please do take advantage of today's program. I'm so happy that one of our biology alums, Justin Mink, has agreed to generously share his time with us today and discuss his perspectives as a science teacher. So is one of our math professors, Jeremy Aiken. And also, we'll have a treat at the end with a spoken word by one of my favorite local poets. Again, I'm very grateful that you have joined us today. So let's start things off. Let's celebrate teaching, and let's celebrate all of you, our future teachers. Together, again, we define the future. And now let me turn things back to Roberto.
Thank you, Dean Pantula. Those are wonderful words from both of our deans here. Very grateful. So again, thank you. We've got a lot of great stuff to cover, but before we jump into the fun stuff, because we are going to try to stick to a very exacting schedule so we get all the material and information to cover. But I did want to give a quick rundown to all of our attendees about what we will be covering today. First, as Dean Pantula mentioned, we will get a chance to hear from Justin Mink, currently a science teacher at Serrano High School and one of our College of Natural Sciences alumnus in biology, who earned both a bachelor's and master's degree in biology. We will have Mr. Marcus Reynolds, who will speak about Project Impact, an initiative that, among other things, is intended to bring more minority male teachers in the classroom. From the Department of Mathematics, we will have Mr. Jeremy Aiken, who will share his information about the opportunities available in terms of both of scholarship and real-world hands-on teaching experiences and preparation. We will have speakers from Riverside Unified School District and San Bernardino City Unified School District that'll talk about job opportunities. We will have our representative from the university's Office of Financial Aid to share information about, you guessed it, financial aid. We will also have a series of breakout rooms later so that you can get connected to facilitators that are here to share their wisdom and answer your questions about specific areas of teaching. If you're interested in being a PE teacher, we'll connect you to someone that's teaching in that field. If you want to learn about special ed or STEM teacher, you've been assigned, or we'll put you in a breakout room with a STEM educator or someone who has that level of expertise. And we have lots of surprises in order to balance out the information. Throughout this session, we will be doing a series of opportunity drawings, and all of our attendees will have a chance to win a prize. For right now, I would like to turn this over to Justin Mink, who is our keynote speaker. Justin is a science teacher at Serrano High School in Phelan. And I really got excited when we were discussing to have a speaker here, because I wanted to have an opportunity to hear everyone to hear from someone who is teaching themselves and has real world experiences and is one of the alums from our biology program. Justin, I'd like to go ahead and you'd like to share some of your experiences with our attendees.
Okay, there we go. Let's try to unmute myself.
Thank you, Justin. I'm turning it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, my name is Justin Mink, as he said. Let me just say that I am honored to have been asked to speak with you today. So let me share with you a bit about myself, tell you about some teachers and mentors who have helped shape me into the man I am today. I was born in West Covina, California, and I was really raised all over Southern California. My parents were teenagers when they had me. So I was one of those students that came from what you could say an unstable household. We were very poor. My father was a construction worker, so we often moved from place to place, following the work, and at times even living out of our car, which at that time period was a Ford Pinto. Of course, it didn't help that it wasn't exactly, like I said, a stable household. My father was often in and out of jail. It was drugs, alcohol abuse, that kind of stuff. But despite all of this, my mother was eventually able to finish school and become a nurse. So it really laid that groundwork of just how important education was, at sort of an early age there, because I saw my mother struggling through and working through college to get us a better life. And even though I moved from school to school, I had a few fantastic teachers who were really able to make an impression in my life. You could say teaching was in my genes as well, right? First and foremost, my grandparents were teachers for 40 years, an elementary school teacher and a mathematics and shop teacher, my grandfather and grandmother. And it is because of them that I entered the teaching profession and had any semblance of stability in my early childhood. I probably wouldn't be talking to you today if it weren't for a woman named Miss Joan, who unfortunately has passed on, but she worked with me early in my elementary years to help develop my reading and writing skills because, as you can imagine, from going from school to school, I was very, very far behind, and she worked with me and not only brought me up to grade level, but exceeded grade level. Eventually, I made it into the California's GATE program, Gifted and Talented Education Program. I had a wonderful teacher when I moved up to the high desert by the name of Mr. Eggleston. He provided me and a handful of other students lots of different enrichment opportunities. He had a sort of a diverse classroom, diverse interests, everything from astronomy to having, the giant snake in the class that you would feed mice to, kind of thing. Like, it was one of those fun classrooms. And he gave us these enriching opportunities, everything from electronics projects, multimedia projects, working with video editing and primitive Apple computers at the time, school plays, that sort of stuff. So really worked with us and gave us these enriching opportunities to sort of, boost us up. So that played a big part of my life. Later on, of course, I would have to mention my high school teachers, Miss Gallagher, Mr. Morrison. They were both my science teachers for marine biology, physics. And I'm actually lucky enough to teach with them today. Like, I work with them today. One is one room up, one is one room down, and I get to see them every day when we are in session for lunch. So I'm very, very blessed in that regard. Obviously, being that we're talking about CSUSB right here, I feel I should mention I had some fantastic professors here at CSUSB. Most notably, my mentor, Dr. Borneus, who provided me so many opportunities and tools I needed to survive the struggles of undergrad, college, grad school on a shoestring budget, the starving college student, as they say. So these days, when I'm not doing Zoom speeches, that is, as he said, I teach at Serrano High School in Phelan, California, which is nearby. It's a relatively low-income community up in the high desert area. I co-teach biology and earth science with a special education teacher. And for those of you who are not familiar with co-teaching, it's a combination of traditional and special education students in the same classroom. So it's full inclusion. It's nice. It's a wonderful experience. I highly recommend it for any of you future teachers who are interested in such things. It's been a good program for me, good experience. I'm one of those Instagram teachers that is a teacher with like a decked out classroom because of the great science teachers I've had in the past. I felt it would be my responsibility to bring that same sort of energy to my science classroom. And I've got everything from 3D printers, aquaponics, various tropical plants, different types of aquariums, saltwater, freshwater, that kind of stuff, lake environments, geologic samples, fossils, all of that. And a lot of my students, I mean, some of them have never been to a museum. So sometimes they look at, a piece of fossil in Matrix and they're like, is that real? Like, yeah, no, it's an actual bone in rock. It's a thing. It's a fossil. But yeah, this provides me, real world instructional aids when I'm teaching, which is fantastic. I highly recommend it. Also, it provides enrichment opportunities for both my high level and low level students that aren't particularly interested in what we're talking about in class that day might be a little bit more interested if they get to feed the fish, or my higher level students can go over and check the water chemistry on the tanks and, that sort of stuff. So not only does it give the students a more entertaining environment and provide me tools to work with, but it also provides me a little bit of differentiated instruction there when I'm working with students that are a little bored or a little uninterested. What else should I say about myself? I serve as a teacher learning leader for my science department. It's kind of a leadership position. I act as a faculty mentor for the Friday Night Live Club on my campus, which is a county-sponsored anti-drug and alcohol program. In the evenings, I even work as an adjunct professor at one of our local community colleges. So I try to keep very busy. So as a former CSUSB student who earned both my bachelor's and master's here, as well as my teaching credential, I can say that CSUSB served as a solid foundation to start my career. Not only providing me the knowledge and expertise for my content area, but also the necessary connections and funding opportunities, which you guys will learn about when they start talking about financial aid, because I made full use of that. I started back in college when I was unemployed. And it was one of those things where a girl I was seeing at the time was like, hey, you should probably go back to school. And I was like, yeah, you might be right. So highly recommend you take full advantage of those opportunities. The College of Natural Sciences provided funding for grad students at the time who were interested in becoming science teachers. And I had just gone through my bachelor's program, and basically this funding allowed me to pursue my master's degree during the day and my teaching credential at night, because it's on tuition, which was nice. If you can manage your time that well, master's degree coursework during the day and teaching credential coursework in the evenings. Sometimes some professors had to make a little exception to allow me to be in two places at once, but it all worked out through a combination of design and luck. I was able to finish my master's coursework in biology around the same time I had to do my classroom observations in my teaching credential program. So, at the time, there was, and still is, a demand in the area for science teachers. And luckily, my old high school was hiring. So I was able to contact with some of my old teachers and network. And the College of Education, luckily, even though I'm having trouble here. Not now, Siri. The College of Education, luckily being, even though my old high school was up in the high desert, the College of Education maintains a connection with my district, the Snowline School District, and it allowed them to hire me on under an emergency teaching credential. So this gave me the opportunity to earn my credential observation hours during like my conference periods, go see other teachers and how they teach, as well as my in-classroom hours while I taught in my classroom, and of course also received a salary, which is nice. It's the best way you can do it if you can do it. But like I said, requires a good amount of time management. I should probably point out that while this was going on for my first 2 years there, I juggled my master's thesis research during the weekend while also doing my credential classes at night after work. So yeah, once again, I like to stay busy. Now, let me share with you my reasons for pursuing a teaching career. Okay, as I said before, my grandparents were a huge influence in my decision to go into teaching. I saw it provide them a stable and fulfilling career where they could manage their work-life balance better than most people can, right? Better than most careers will allow you. And importantly, it gave them the time and the financial stability to raise a family and to see the world, which is fantastic, right? Very few careers give you that opportunity to sort of manage your life and still be fulfilled. Now, it was not a straight shot to teaching for me. I went back to college. I worked many other professions prior to college. And even during my undergrad, I seriously considered going into stem cell research. I was in the CIRM program, the California Institute of Regenerative Medicine program here at CSUSB. And I was originally planning on going into research, but I had an opportunity to work with students during an Upward Bound summer science program that CSUSB had hosted on campus. And I worked with those high school students and I really enjoyed it. And then again, once I got into grad school and I worked as a lab instructor, I found I really enjoyed being in front of a classroom. And I discovered I had a knack and an enthusiasm for teaching science in a way that reached students. So being in front of a classroom, teaching students about a subject I love is fun for me. And although not all of my students are as enthusiastic about Mendelian genetics as I am, it clicks for a few of them. And seeing that spark of new interest in their eyes is one of the most rewarding parts of this career. So in closing, perhaps I can share some words of inspiration with you. While teaching can be challenging, it can also be one of the most rewarding careers. Some of the most difficult students I've had so far in teaching, students who didn't seem engaged or had behavioral issues in class, have made it a point to stop by my classroom the next year to say hello, check in on plants that they took care of, see how the fish are doing in my classroom, just come by and say hi. Even if when they were in the class, they didn't do great grade-wise or didn't seem interested, it's interesting that, I made that dent. Even if someone you don't think you've made a difference, even if sometimes you don't think you made a difference in a student's life, it's always inspiring to know that you've indeed made a positive impact. And the world needs educators who have a passion for their subject, right? Teachers who not only educate students in academic material, but provide students a role model, a mentor. And a good science teacher can raise a generation of great scientists. If the past year has taught us anything, it's that science education must become a priority again. And what can I say? CSUSB's science and education programs led me to this rewarding and fulfilling career and provided me the financial and professional support I needed to succeed. So yeah, well, thank you very much for your time. And I hope you enjoy the event.
Thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate it. I just have to say, I really embrace and am enthused by the passion that you are so free about your profession. As I may have mentioned, my wife is a teacher herself, so I have nothing but respect and admiration for a very, very critical field that has an impact that is really limitless. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you.
But right now, we actually like to turn over to our next speaker. We have Mr. Marcus Reynolds, who will speak about Project Impact. Marcus, I turn it over to you.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm going to, my name is Marcus Reynolds. I'm Director of Project Impact. I'm excited to be here with this amazing group of current and future educators. As this is a celebration of teaching as it exists today, I think it's the perfect time to discuss the program of Project Impact that seeks to create an inclusive pathway of support for teachers of tomorrow. So let me give you a little background and talk about Project Impact. Currently, only 5% of the teachers nationally are men of color, but research indicates that this diverse teacher population is shown in K-12 settings to increase reading and math scores, decrease disciplinary incidents, improve graduation rates, and positively impact students by increasing their interest in attending college. Studies also indicate that teachers of color connect in ways that increase the academic performance of all students, especially students of color and students in low socioeconomic areas. So the goal of Project Impact is to increase the diversity of teachers in the region by intentionally recruiting men of color with a focus on African American and Latino males to be highly skilled, collaborative, inclusive teachers committed to operating from a restorative perspective, seeking to promote equitable educational outcomes for all students. This program is a vision from the Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Damochuko. And in the spring of last spring of 2020, he and Dr. Sombrera, the coordinator for single subject, you guys will meet her that are interested in that, began a cohort. A few of them are in the audience right now. So, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Eldrick? They began that cohort in a partnership with Riverside County Office of Education. So what we're doing is we're continuing in that and trying to expand it as well. So for the fall, we are currently recruiting for fall, a cohort of 30. And also for spring, we're recruiting as well. But recruiting, and the aim is to create a Project Impact is to create a pipeline. So initially starting with those with a BA that wanted to get a credential and single subject, and now it's expanding to single subjects, multi-subject, and special education. And by the way, that deadline to apply is April 21st. So let's get in there and make that happen. When I finish, I will definitely put flyers. We have an information session coming at on April 2nd. So I'll give you a appeal at the end, but just so I don't forget, I'll put those in the chat at the end. But we're also seeking to expand by bringing returning students or transfer students who qualify to enter as a junior to the liberal studies program, integrated track program that'll allow you to complete your BA and a teaching credential simultaneously. So let me give you a little bit more information. Project Impact is designed to work in conjunction with Cal State San Bernardino's already high quality teacher education program to help shape some of tomorrow's teachers. So Project Impact will mentor cohorts through a program and provide supplemental experiences to enhance their understanding of certain coursework through it. Specific skill attainment will be developed through Master Your Craft PD series that's in development for these cohorts that are coming up. And it really focuses on best practices that may not catch up into the teacher education program, but is best practices relevant to what's happening on the campuses now. Things like understanding restorative practices, culturally relevant teaching, interventions to support an inclusive classroom, among other things, to increase the readiness of teacher candidates. So when they leave the program, they're the best prepared of any of the new first-year teachers that are coming out. We can't do this without partnerships. And as I mentioned, there's a partnership with Riverside County Office of Education. We're also partnered with Growing Inland Achievement and the Blue Educational Foundation, and more recently, San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. So we're looking to continue to expand those partnerships and build capacity and sustainability for this program. Project Impact is an opportunity to become a part of a movement to expand access through innovation, increasing the intention and the approach of the recruitment, development, and deployment of men of color into teaching is just a starting point. With this, COVID pandemic, this life experience has commanded education to adjust, halt, pivot, adjust. And now we must do things differently. We must partner in different ways and ultimately create more equitable outcomes for all. And as I mentioned, these needs to increase men of color in the teaching because it helps our K-12 students. Here's how Project Impact will support participants that become that join us in this fight, put it that way. From a cohort model, we'll do a cohort model for support and collaboration. We're creating intentional educational experiences that go along with the theoretical learning. Prior to student teaching or internships, this will increase the preparedness once they're in the classroom. Key opportunities with regional school district partners to support participants' development and also networking opportunities. And I talked about Master Your Craft, this professional development will that continue to grow, but again, talking about various aspects of education that you don't necessarily remember when you're a teacher, but you'll need as far as like MTSS and how to support different students in different settings. And more importantly, Project Impact will support participants in navigating the program. There are all kinds of hiccups that take place when you're going through a program, and we're there to support and try to get to the bottom of everything to make sure that we're either helping you move, remove, go through, or just forewarning you about different aspects that may trip some people up. And then again, we will do what we can. As funding increases, this will increase, but financial support to offset some of the costs and expense of the program. So in closing for me, if you've completed your BA or you're near completion of your BA, if you have an AA or 60 units, or you're just returning back and you can come as enter as a junior into the program and you're interested in teaching, we'd love to talk to you about your educational journey and how we can help support you in making an impact in the region as a teacher. If you're affiliated with a school district, a community organization, or regional business, we would love to discuss partnerships and building a more diverse teacher pipeline of highly qualified teachers to make a positive impact to change agents on day one. So again, this is a brief overview of the program. We have an info session scheduled for April 2nd from 4 to 5 p.m. I will put those flyers in the chat. And if you see it as an opportunity for you, please take it. If you see it as an opportunity for someone else, please take it and provide it to them. But we want to make sure you have an opportunity to be the change. And thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much, Marcus. I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'm seeing in the chat room, we're getting a lot of reactions, a lot of folks saying, I'm interested in what you're saying, Marcus. So thank you so much. I think we're going to hear that more and learn that more as we continue on with the day. Thank you. Right now, I'd like to actually turn this over to Jeremy Aiken, a member of our faculty in the Department of Mathematics. He has some wonderful information he can share with us about our early teaching experiences and noise programs, just to give you a taste about what type of support, resources, and opportunities await you if you're thinking of becoming a teacher. And with that, I turn it over to Jeremy Aiken.
Thank you, Roberto. Hi, everybody. It's great to see everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share this information. Roberto, am I allowed to share my screen?
Of course. You should have co-hosting duties, so you should be able to go ahead and jump right into that. If not,
okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Let me just share this real quick. Okay. So I'm here to share some information, maybe highlight a couple of really cool scholarship programs that are particular to science teaching. And I shared some PDF documents in the chat with you guys, and I'm going to cover that information right now, but I wanted to give you something to kind of take with you. If you're joining us through your phone and you can't access the chat that way, then we'll email these out as well, so don't worry. So I'm going to share some information about two programs: the Early Teaching Experiences in Math and Science program and the Noise program. So also don't light your hands on fire unless you know what you're doing. That's definitely. So the Early Teaching Experiences in Math and Science is the point of this program is to give students kind of an early experience in teaching without having to commit to pursuing the teaching profession. So we're really targeting students who are, early in their careers, sophomores, maybe juniors. We want you to have maybe at least a year's worth of courses in your major before you get into this, because we want you to have some kind of foundational content knowledge for what you're going to be doing. But the idea is that you're going to be in this program for a semester, and at the end of the semester, you should have a lot more information to make an informed decision about whether or not you really want to pursue math or science teaching as a career. So yeah, it's a one semester experience. There's a $1,500 scholarship for that. You work with a small team of peers, usually 3 or 4 students are in a team, and you're guided by a faculty advisor, and you meet roughly once a week for about an hour in a seminar, and you learn about teaching practices. You learn a little bit about the different content standards in math and science. You learn about things like you read about how students learn math and science and how that sort of information can benefit you as a teacher. You also go and observe teachers in the region. You interview teachers. You get to interview administrators. You interview human resource personnel. We want you to kind of get an experience where you learn about a lot of different of the aspects of the career before actually making that decision. At the end of the program, whether or not you decide to pursue teaching, we call that a success, because we really want those who are pretty sure they want to pursue teaching. And we want what happens a lot, especially in math and science, is that teachers, start teaching their first year and they don't really know what they've gotten themselves into necessarily, right? So nationally, there's about somewhere between a 16 and 18% attrition rate for first year teachers. Right. So that's sort of the need for this program. It's we don't want that. We want teachers to have fun in their first year and to be prepared and to really understand what it's about, rather than being overwhelmed. And so we're both of these programs are working towards that. And the graduates of these programs, most of them are teachers now. We have currently 33 Noyce alumni who are teaching in the San Bernardino School District, and they are like super excited, and they're always sharing really cool lesson plans with me. I usually meet with a couple of them a month, and they're just sharing stuff with me. It's so cool. So the Noyce program is more of a program for students who are pretty sure that they want to be a teacher. Right. And you can join this program starting in your junior year, and you can be in the program for up to 3 years. And so that includes maybe a year of your credential program. It's much more immersive. You're working really hand in hand with a mentor teacher in the San Bernardino School District partnership with San Bernardino. And you're starting by really doing some focused observations with that teacher. And then you gradually sort of get into planning lessons and working with small groups of students, and then ease into actually teaching the class. And then your mentor teacher ends up sort of observing you. And so having 3 years of this experience really hones your skills and makes it so the first day on your job is like old hat. It's stuff you've been doing, and you have all these tools, you have all the support, you've got a great network going into it, support network, and you're totally prepared and excited to teach. So it's a partnership with the San Bernardino School District. So the scholarship is actually a $10,000 per year forgivable loan. So there's an obligation to teach in the San Bernardino School District for 2 years for every year that you accept the funds. These are the program requirements. There's a deadline application for both of these programs is May 24th. I've sent a few things. One of the things coming up is a showcase of the Noyce program. It's going to happen on May 12th, and you're all invited. You should register so we know how many to expect, but that's one of the flyers I've posted in the chat. You'll get a chance to hear about what the participants in the program have been doing all year, and you'll get to talk to some of the students who are in the program. So I've given you all this information. My time is a little short, but if you have any questions, this is my contact information. And feel free to email me anytime, and I will get back to you promptly and give you any information you need. I'd be happy to set up Zoom meetings with anyone. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, very much, Jeremy Aiken. I think this is a lot of great information that's catching our attention. I'm great to hear a lot of testimonials in the chat as well.
So for me, what we are looking for in your calling, and we've heard so many inspiring messages this afternoon, but really for us, what we're mostly interested in is future students, future teachers that are coming into the profession that have not only the passion for the youth, the passion to see equity, the passion to see excellence in students, to see the hope, but also have the other technical skills. So you may have an opportunity or a mindset that maybe you know all the standards, maybe you know all the formulas, all the reading strategies. So you're very technical. And in today's world, that's exactly what we need. But it's of minimal value or not as strong of a potential value if you also don't have the responsibility and the priority of building relationships and trust with students. And so in our school district, we see the balance of both train tracks, the technical side as well as the interpersonal side. And so as you are preparing to become a teacher, as you are preparing to go into this profession, you absolutely go to your classes, learn all the skills, everything that you need to learn about teaching and creating that engagement. But just as important is building those relationships, understanding empathy, understanding the fact that many of these students come from broken homes, they're foster kids, they're homeless students, and they're also students from well-to-do families. And every single one of those students, they all have their challenges. And unless they are able to relate with you and understand that you understand them, all of the technical stuff that you can bring to the table will probably not be heard as much if those students don't understand or are not convinced that you personally care for their well-being and the hope for their future. So as you go into it, I want you to reach out to me. Reach me. I'll put my email address on the chat. Many of you, as you're getting ready to graduate and get your BAs, and maybe you pass the CBIS, you'll go to me and we will help you in your journey in becoming, at least to begin with, maybe a certificated substitute teacher as you go through your student teaching. I'm the person that works along with your university directors and supervisors and assigning you to master teachers when you are a student teacher. So I'm very much in touch with all of the people from Cal State San Bernardino, the School of Education, and the partnership that we have in the recruitment. We have ongoing recruitments. On April 10th, we will have a virtual job fair at Riverside Unified School District. And that will be for teachers that already have their credentials and they're ready to start teaching. And that will be you in a couple of years, maybe in 1 year, depending on where you are in your journey. One of the things that I want to say, and I know I don't have all the time in the world, but I want to share this piece of information.
We're happy for the time that you give us, Wilson. Just want to reassure you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's often said that our students and even our young professionals, our young students in college are preparing for jobs, or our students are going to school and they're preparing for jobs that we may not even know that exists when they're getting ready to hit the workforce. But I tell you what, man, I mean, that's the case for all of us all the time. When I started teaching in 1996 or 97, I had no idea that maybe 25 years later, we would all be teaching through Google Meets and Google Classrooms and Zoom meetings like this. Had no idea. That would have been unheard of, And so just understand one thing for us, it doesn't matter what the future will bring, as long as you One, you have the passion and the love and the care and the hope for students. And then on the other hand, you have the ability and the willingness to learn how to deliver lessons, learn how to be precise, learn how to persevere, learn how to not give up, and learn, most importantly, how to collaborate. You're not an island. You're not working alone. You work with others. You work with others even from other states, other countries. And really we get used to this idea that we are a collaborative culture in this world, trying to do what's best for the students. So I encourage you to visit Riverside Unified School District. I left you my email address. I want to work with you. It's one tiny way that I can give back to my alma mater is to really help our students from Cal State San Bernardino get the dream jobs that you may have. One more thing. Some of you may go into education, maybe not thinking and I heard this from one of the speakers today, maybe not thinking, maybe when you were in grade school and someone asked, what do you want to do when you grow up? Maybe you weren't thinking, I want to be a teacher or I want to go into education. And somehow here you are. And it doesn't matter. The field of education is calling you, it's attracting you. There's something within your soul, within your heart that says, I want to follow this. It may not have been so obvious when you were in junior high or even in high school, or even when you started college. But something happened along the way, your journey, that revealed to you, this is where you need to be. And you're surrounded by amazing people at the university, and you build networks, you build relationships, you build these professional networks with other people that can help you along the way. So I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of the colleagues that are putting this program together. I want you to reach me. I want you to reach out to me. And I'm so happy to offer any advice. It hasn't always been easy. We've made our share of mistakes. But you know what pulls us through? The perseverance and the full understanding that we have a love and passion for our students. And as long as that's where the intentions are, we have the flexibility, and also we have the courage and the understanding of giving us the benefit of doubt that even within our mistakes, we can learn from those mistakes to become better educators for our students. I appreciate the time. I don't know how I'm doing with time here, but that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I did say a couple more things as far as salaries. You're absolutely right. The dean from the university, it's a very giving profession. I think one of the comments from me was, where do we start? You start with a salary, I think it's about $62,000 a year, and that's just minimum. And then you start adding courses and units after you graduate college, you get your master's degree, and it's incremental growth every step of the way. 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, and all different districts have different step increases and incentives. And all along the way, you're also building something that you may not think about when you're 21, 22, 23, but you're building also your retirement fund. And it's a very, very healthy retirement fund as long as you stay committed to it as a profession. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'm honored to be here. And I thank you. Please reach me. I'm happy to serve you in any way I can.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great real talk, great inspiration. Very much obliged. Also at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Dion Clark, who will be speaking from the San Bernardino City Unified School District. Dion Clark, we'd love to be able to share a little bit about the opportunities in your district.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Dion Clark, and I am San Bernardino City Unified School District's Director of Human Resources. So before I get into more about our school district, I want to tell you a little bit about my own personal journey. And I'm a product of San Bernardino City Unified School District, K-12. I graduated from San Gregorio High School in San Bernardino. I then got my bachelor's, my master's, and my teaching credential from Cal State San Bernardino, and then went on to start teaching with San Bernardino for now 26 years. So I am homegrown from this community. The things that you are going through, I have been there from birth on. So I get this, and I'm so honored to be here and try to lead you in the same pathway that I had. Part of the reason why I knew that I wanted to work for our district is having gone through it. I had a wonderful experience. Didn't realize that kids outside of our district, even some within our district, may not have always had the same experience that I did. So that led me to want to be a part of equity in making sure that we produce teachers and employees for San Bernardino City Unified School District who really have that heart for students, heart first. So a little bit like Wilson was sharing. When we're hiring, the number one thing that I'm looking for is, how are you connecting with me? So if you're connecting with me immediately in the interview, then I know you know how to connect with people, you know how to connect with kids. So I don't even ask questions initially about curriculum instruction, all those things, because if you can't connect with people, humans, and little humans or big humans, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to feel like you care about them. And so anything else you say about curriculum instruction is going to go in one ear and out the other. So it is about connections and relationship building first, and then of course the instructional knowledge, because what we want absolutely is to produce citizens who are intellects and can be productive contributors of our society. So a little bit about our district. We are hiring. This year we're hiring about 100 vacancies. That is, usually we hire about 200, 250, but with the pandemic and those things, so we have people that it's a little bit lower, but we are still hiring. We, like Riverside Unified, have a virtual recruitment fair that's coming up in April. It's April 21st. And that is a Wednesday. If you are on EdJoin or you go to our district's website, you can register for that fair. We do encourage everyone to register that's even interested in education, even if you're not going to necessarily pursue a job this next year, but just getting in front of the managers and the recruiters and our team, connecting. Let us get to know you so that you're on our radar. Okay, so please know that. As far as our salaries, we start you on our second step, and it is about $59,000. That does include benefits, so you get paid benefits, your medical, your dental, your vision, your life insurance, accidental insurance, as well as you pay your retirement system. So the STIR state retirement system that Wilson spoke of, that is phenomenal. So all of that is included. One of the key things, and I know a lot of teachers are concerned about, okay, what happens once I get the job? How am I supported? San Bernardino has a robust teacher induction program, and it's free. Some districts, you have to pay for it. San Bernardino, it is free. So that helps you to clear your credential and meet all of your TPAs. And you have a mentor that's assigned to you from day one. You meet with that mentor at least weekly, can be more than that. That's between you and your collaboration with your mentor. And you have professional development. You get to observe other teachers on your site or outside of your site. We have demonstration teachers. You visit their classrooms, you learn from them. So very robust teacher induction program. And again, that's a 2-year program, helps you clear your credential, and it is free of charge to you. So that's something very critical to know about that. Also, along with that, each school has their own sort of onboarding program, because when you're there, you're kind of like the new kid on the block. So kind of like you remember being a freshman in high school and, where are my friends and my allies? So you're also automatically assigned a buddy teacher or buddy mentor, or whatever the school may call it there, that will kind of be your partner as you move through your first year and your second year process. And same thing, that onboarding on your site will help you to get to know your colleagues, as well as the ins and outs of the district from someone other than your administrator. So you will automatically kind of have friends that are given to you right out the gate. So you are in a noble profession. San Bernardino has been amazing. I started as a middle school teacher, taught for 8 years, taught 1 year of elementary. I said that was my 1 year temporary insanity. I found out that was not a fit for me, and then became principal at San Antonio High School for 8 years. So I became the principal of my alma mater. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that, but it is all about the connections and the mentoring, the mentorship. And then most recently, I just was promoted into this position here. So the opportunities are endless as an educator. I admire all of you that are here in pursuing this. This is a noble and very humbling profession. I look out here and I see a lot of people that I know from our district and beyond, and just keep pushing, keep persevering, and please reach out to me for anything that you may need. I will also put my email address in the chat, and consider me now one of your first contacts, and a mentor, and even a critical friend if needed. So thank you for the time.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for sharing your perspective and your encouragement for everyone that's here. So thank you so much. And for everyone that wants to follow up, please look in the chat for emails and so forth. So I know we're almost get to the top of the hour, folks, but we just have a last little bit. One thing that I'm very proud of, we wanted to make this event a little bit extra special, something that really gets you thinking, really plucks at your heartstrings. If anyone had seen the inauguration, there was a wonderful poetry reading that was done that was really got people talking for weeks. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to really have something creative, artistic, soulful to kind of cap off our time together? So with that being said, we have a very special guest joining us here today, an acclaimed local spoken word artist, poet, is with you here today. And with that, I'd like to introduce, excuse me. Did a little too much talking today. Treje Powers is here to share. She's going to take a little bit about what she's about to read, and then we'll go ahead and start the reading itself.
There we go. All
Oh, there.
right. I am unmuted and free. I think I took Roberto's breath away and I hadn't even said 2 words yet. That's exciting. I just want to say thank you so much, Cal State San Bernardino, the College of Education and Natural Sciences, for giving me the opportunity to honor this moment. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Treje Powers. I am actually a licensed school psychologist, and I work in Covina Valley Unified School District. And spoken word poetry is my passion, my labor of love, if you will. I actually sought education because I love the idea of having a career where I got summers and Christmas off. But I still got to contribute and be a part of my community. But I chose the field of mental health, but I understood always that I wanted to work with children. And so when Roberto approached me for this event and said that we were pouring into future teachers, I said, yes, this is a necessary conversation. And I am so elated to share the poem that was inspired by this moment. I sat with and reflected on the past year. And as a mother of 2 small children, I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, I realized very quickly how much my teacher meant to them. And I say my teacher because Miss Heather was my teacher too. And when the schools closed down, I truly did not understand how vital her role was in my children's lives until I then was in her shoes as mommy and teacher. And so I wanted this poem to not just speak to how essential the role of educators are in our communities, but also the fact that we are innately teachers. We are all innately given a gift or an experience or a life lesson that we are charged with imparting to those that will come after us. Whether you are an older sister, an aunt, or uncle, there is some level of wisdom that you are charged and responsible for sharing and paying forward with the world. And so I went from all the way from 2020 to back, and then really understanding that at the end of the day, teachers are the bedrock of every profession. We can't have professors without teachers. We can't have scientists without someone teaching them the science. We can't have engineers without someone teaching them the math. And so when we look at the world, we can truly say that the world has been built on education, on lessons passed down from generation to generation. I know it sounds like I'm saying a poem right now, but I haven't even gotten started yet. I'm just excited. So this poem is for you. This poem was written specifically for this moment, for this group. So if you are here in this Zoom meeting, I take that as not a coincidence, but a divine appointment that you are exactly where you need to be and you are on the right track. So with that being said, without further ado, I'm going to share this poem with you. It doesn't have a title. So when I finish, if someone wants to put in the comments what they think the title should be, the winner, I will give them credit. Okay. I remember it like it was yesterday. A frenzied exodus from my office, no file left behind. Clutching laptop and keys, I held in my hands everything but a sense of certainty. Did I hear that correctly? Schools were shutting down across the globe. Government policies enacted for measures safer at home. COVID-19 revealed we still had a lot to learn. The firewalls seemed to be closing in on us all, from daycares to universities, classrooms replaced with computer screens. 2020 forever shifted paradigms of what homeschooling means. In a matter of days, families planted makeshift schools, from germination gleaned from days in Granny's garden to fractions folded into loaves of bread. Educators evolved at home to survive. Without teachers at the root, our saplings couldn't thrive. On the backdrop of a global pandemic, we saw how essential schools have always been to our communities. We learned how fluid the job of a teacher can truly be. Nothing could compensate for such an essential piece. As a people, we rallied together as a virtual village, expanding the minds of children and the limits of human ingenuity. Educators across America stretched their bandwidth at exponential rates to recreate something innate: education. A centuries-old tradition of empowering the next generation. Educators have historically forged the path of world leaders. This is the work of centuries of DNA. Before periodic tables, astronomers taught kings to find their way. Alexander's greatness fully realized by Aristotle's genius. Today, I am reminded of pharaohs seeking wise counsel from learned advisors. Hieroglyphics etched on walls of pyramids chronicle lessons of chemistry and physics before recess bells rang across quads. Griots circled around the fire. Their voices served as all the notice we needed that school was in session. We would send Kofa wisdom from the mouths of those that lived before us, through storytelling under moonlight or the training of knights answering calls to battle instead of emails. Before brick and mortar buildings, education pulsed through the rhythm of drums during rites of passage. We were not just downloading formulas or debating plot twists in novels from teachers. We learned survival, our position in society, our role in our community. For those that couldn't afford formal education, they learned a trade. Apprenticeships crafting the next artisans, inventors activated by unanswered questions. Knowledge beckoned us to study ourselves. Life tested our wits and will. Before curriculums, we had culture instilled in our childhood. A love for learning as noble as legacy. We have known teachers all of our lives. Our mothers taught us care for others. Our fathers imparted values via dad jokes and parables. My father once taught me that if you find a job you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. So I ask you, how do you find new ways to love an ancient art? Easy. Become a teacher, the crux of our society. It is the bedrock all professions are built upon. Educators are not wizards of worksheets. We are oracles uncovering destinies, counselors, mentors, activists, and advocates. We are the front lines. Deemed essential. Phase 1B VIPs in line for vaccines, master teachers to teaching with masters and PhDs. Education is the Great Commission, discipleship of passion, the power of one person birthing 100 doctors in their lifetime through a labor of love. It is choosing to harness your greatest power, become the key that unlocks possibilities in a closed mind. Someone had to teach Einstein to read. Professors, educated scientists that built COVID vaccines, instructors drove Elon Musk to challenge reality with the electric car. Teaching is less about multiple subjects and more about multiplying a hunger for possibility. Through every world tragedy, teachers stand in the gap to tell the story. Beacons and bridges, divine disseminators of information, credentialed cultivators of humans across nations, seeds of revelation that catch fire and launch rockets, erectors of empires and homes away from home. It is the heart of humanity to question, will you answer? The call to unlock the unknown, will you teach? So children can be saved, so cures can be found, so spaceships can be built, so history can be told, so this world will keep turning with the knowledge that as long as there are educators, there is always more to learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't think I can say anything that captures how I want to acknowledge this. But if I've seen anything in the chat room, we are getting reactions from so many.
Thank you so much, everyone. If any of you are interested in pursuing possibly school psychology, right, as a field, I will put my contact information in the chat for you all to connect with me further and follow my journey. But thank you again, everyone, for this moment. And I wish all of you future educators the best of luck. We need you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What a wonderful way to kind of wrap up a wonderful moment and really exploring in many ways, articulating, sharing experiences, what the teaching career is and what a fundamental force that education is in the world. I know we're a little bit past the hour, but I just want to touch on two quick things real quick before we wrap up. First, I'll definitely, anything for all of our attendees, check the chat room. We did put a lot of emails and some documents there as well for your consideration. I wanted to quickly share one quick thing from the Project Impact. I'll just flash this up on my screen real quick. This is a flyer that I just want to remind you that you can find it in the chat for those that are interested in learning more about our Project Impact and the role that men of color can play out there in classrooms. And with that, Arlene and Sheila, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. I can never do justice with speaking to everyone, but this was put together by so many people across multiple colleges, so many offices, so many members of the community, our local districts, our partners. A huge, warm welcome to everyone from our faculties, our leaders, our alums, our staffers, our educators, our administrators, our poets, our parents, our children. These are generations that will be able to carry, that are here poised to carry this legacy. So thank you very much. And definitely I want to recognize Dean Sastry Pantula. Oh, I lost my notes here. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Thank you also for the wonderful poetry too. But I also enjoyed meeting a lot of you, and I really enjoyed going to various break rooms as well.
Thank you, Dean Pantula, and also to Dean Chinaka Donwachuku. I appreciate your inspiring words as we started off today, same as with Dean Pantula. Thank you. And with that, this will be, I think, our final slide. Thank you, Arlena. This is take advantage of these sessions. They start, I think it looks like the first one will start for multiple subject in April 7th. And if I'm not correct, Arlene and Sheila, a lot of the flyers that we've been posting, sharing, showing, we can send those to all of our registered attendees, correct?
That's right. We will be sending an email with a lot of the flyers that we spoke or that was shared today. And of course, some more information on how you can attend an information session to get the application started. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm seeing great things here in the chat. This is what we want to hear. Thank you. This event was incredible. Thank you to everyone. This meeting was fun, informative, inspiring. Thank you. This is the kind of feedback we want to hear. With that being said, I hope that you found today to be enlightening, inspiring, and informative. And we're so happy to have so many join us here today. To quote, I think someone had to use a word, when it comes to teaching, there is no limits, none at all. Thank you very much.